Welcome back to the neighborhood, boys and girls. Our next guest is Simit Patel. Simit, welcome to the neighborhood.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you.
To be here.
We were just talking a little bit. We had a lot of friends of friends and a lot of people that knew each other. But you're somebody that's in the business that people really look up to.
I appreciate that.
You're somebody that I wanted to get to come on here because I really love the business and I love the personalities of the business, and we do stuff a little different. It's not like, oh, we do this many transactions. I like to talk about the people's journeys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how did you get here? Where did you come from? And how did you become this? You know?
Right, absolutely, man. We all have a story.
Yeah. I'll talk a little bit about your pre-real estate journey because I know you had a different career totally.
Absolutely.
Was here and how you got here.
Yeah, so I was actually a pharmacist. Mm-hmm. So I was in charge of 5 ShopRite pharmacies in South Jersey.
Okay.
I ran them. I was filling prescriptions. I was hiring. I was scheduling. I was in the trenches. Mm-hmm. That was for 17 years. 2008. Halfway through my pharmacy career, I was getting the itch to get into real estate. So I took that class in Cherry Hill. And
where did that come from?
I just always wanted to do it. That was before HGTV and all that stuff. I just, my dad was a civil engineer and I loved architecture and stuff. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go get my real estate license. And in 2000, you remember what that was, right?
Sure.
Everybody was getting out of the business, right?
Mass exodus.
Mass exodus. Everybody's putting the keys under the mat and they were getting out. So I went crazy. I went the opposite direction. I said, you know what? Let me get my real estate license. So in 2008, I went to the classes 2 nights a week, got my license, and that year I sold 1 condo.
Okay.
I made, I think, like $1,500 after all the splits and this and that. And all my friends were like, what are you doing? You're a pharmacist. You're this, you're that. Like, you make good money. But that one transaction fueled my passion for real estate. Okay. So then for 9 years, I did both pharmacy full-time and real estate, just building my book of business. And then in 2017, I left pharmacy for good.
Yeah. So I got to ask you about family stuff.
Yeah.
Because I know that your family background for you.
Yes.
Probably, I'm just taking a wild guess. Your parents were probably very happy that you were a pharmacist.
100%.
And probably not very happy that you were leaving pharmacy
they were like,
and going to real estate.
Yeah, for them, immigrant parents, I came from India. I was born here in Jersey. They were of the mindset that get a job, work the W-2 job, get a steady career going so that you wouldn't have to worry. Yeah. I've always been of the mindset of thinking bigger. Yeah. Right? And it's hard because, pharmacy was a great salary. You're guaranteed a job, if not here, somewhere else. And I was like, you know what? But I want to bet on myself. And I felt like pharmacy, as great of a profession as it is, best pharmacist in the world, worst pharmacist in the world,
same pay structure.
Same.
Yeah.
And I felt like, and it wasn't about the pay as much as it was the hustle, right? So, whereas in real estate, the harder you work, the more you're rewarded.
The ceiling in pharmacy is there, and there's nothing you can do.
That's what it is.
You could be the best pharmacist in the world, and nobody's coming and going, we'll hire you for 4 times your salary.
Exactly. Now I have a lot of friends that are still in the profession, and they're like, man, we wish we would have gotten out and done something else because it's shifted a lot.
What was that conversation like? Like when you went to your dad and said...
So it's funny. I spoke to my dad. He passed in 2016. Okay. But he knew every morning we would talk. He'd call me at 8:30 every day. First question: how are the boys doing? This, that, the other. Next question was, what's going on in real estate? He never asked me about the pharmacy because he knew what my passion was. Right. So I think. He passed in November of 2016, and then July of 2017, I made that transition. Full time. Okay. So it was a lot going on in my life. But, when I had that conversation with him, I was like, Dad, one day I'm going to leave pharmacy, and I'm going to do real estate full time. And he's like, listen, go for it. That's awesome. Because he was like, you know what? He never took those chances in life. So he played it safe, which there's nothing wrong with. Sure. Right? I'm not knocking anybody doing that. Yeah. But for me, it was like, you know what? No risk, no reward. And to me, everybody was like, well, you could always fall back in pharmacy and this and that, but I never did. I can't go back now.
Once you jump, you jump.
And I tell people I went from slinging drugs to slinging houses. You know what I mean? Legal drugs.
Prescription drugs. Yeah, we'll clarify that. Yes. Make sure we know. So how did the journey take off? And, you're known as a high producer. So
thank you.
How did you turn into a part-time guy who sold 1 house into someone who's known as a top 5-ish?
Sure. So that's a great question. Crazy part, when I was a pharmacist, I had no social media. I think I had LinkedIn. Right. Just to say I was a pharmacist because I had no Facebook, no Instagram, nothing, no YouTube, right? So the first thing I did was I had to let the world know that I was no longer a full-time pharmacist and part-time realtor. So if you look on my profiles, nowhere does it say I was a pharmacist.
Right.
I mean, people that know me and
Right. I was going to say I never saw that.
Right. So to me, I had to really get out of the shell of part-time real estate agent. So I went hard on Facebook, and not knowing what the hell I was doing, I would be posting things about cars and watches and houses, and I'm like, something's got to stick.
Right.
And some of those posts really landed me in front of some wealthy clients.
Yeah.
And I started to break into that market of luxury, and that kind of helped take off.
Sure.
So in 2017, when I left pharmacy for good, I had a lot of referral business, a lot of, past clients, because again, 2008 to 17, 9 years, I did a decent amount.
Yeah.
But it was never the right time to just make that jump.
Yeah.
And I felt like social media and then just getting out there and networking really helped me build my book of business.
Sure.
From where I am to where I am today.
Now, social media is always a topic that we get into.
Sure.
Since then, where is your social media presence? Are you strictly Facebook? Are you TikTok? Are you Instagram? Are
Yeah,
you...
great question. So you know what? I'd be lying to you if I knew all of the platforms inside and out. Facebook and Instagram is where I get majority of my leads from as far as social media goes.
Right.
Started playing around a little bit on TikTok. My fiance, Sydney Lockhead, she is phenomenal at social media. So, once we got together, she kind of helped take over my social media.
She does
She does a lot of the stuff for me, and she's like, listen, she mixes it up, right?
Right.
We're actually going to be starting our own podcast.
Nice.
We're getting a YouTube channel going. So now I'm starting to step out of just the Facebook and Instagram world, thanks to her and her talents. But without that, I would be stuck doing the same thing.
I'm majoritively Facebook and Instagram.
Sure, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I have a 17-year-old daughter who helps me out a little bit with my TikTok and stuff like that. Like I watch TikTok. I'm on there. I still have not figured out the manipulating the algorithm to get me local views.
Right.
I know how to get 200,000 views on social media, but most of them are in Amarillo, Texas, and Rio Cucamonga, California, and that's not going to help me out.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
So I haven't mastered how to turn those views into business. That's what my 2023 goals are, is to figure out how to get those views and those impressions into actual valuable relationships, not just, hey, I know a dude in California.
Yeah, that's actually a great goal, and I feel like we all struggle with that. We get the views, we get the likes, then it's like, how do we convert that into business, right? So, I've found that stories have really helped, right? Because you can see who's watching your story, and they a lot of times engage in the story. I posted something funny this morning, actually, like a door and this and that, and ha-has, and out of that, I got somebody that says, you know what, we're thinking about listing our home come the summertime when the kids are done school. Would you be able to come out and help us, let us know what we need to do and change around? So out of us, it was just a silly, goofy post, on my story, but that kind of led to something more, and a listing appointment come, next week. So, it's just a matter of grinding it out.
Yeah, and you post a lot about your personal life. So
sure.
I have a always going back and forth argument with a bunch of different people in my life, and they're like, you can't do anything without posting on social media, and I'm like, listen, yes, I'm my brand, I'm me, and they're like, can't you help somebody without posting it on social media? I'm like, no. I want people to know that if you spend your money with me or you invest in me, I'm not the jerky, aloof, weird dude. Like, a portion of that money is going back to a homeless shelter. Or we're going to go in the community, we're going to do stuff. That's important to me. If it's 100%. Not important to you, then okay, fine. But I'm not from the just do it in secret kind of thing. No, I want to post it all out.
I agree, and I'm with you, right? And I know some people out there might think, hey, he posts too much, or he this and that, he's letting everybody know what he does.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I'm on the other side of the fence, I want to be able to work with somebody that's relatable.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's me on the baseball field with the kids, whether it's me, my fiance out to dinner, restaurants, this, that, the other, whatever it is that we're doing, I want people to know that at the end of the day, you know, we are going to be human.
Yeah.
You know, and with Sydney, I mean, I call her my wife.
Yeah.
She's my wife, right? Like we wear our rings, you know, we have a wedding coming up. So, but, you know, so I'm saying fiance to you, but really my wife and I, we're out there. You know what I mean? I have twin boys that are 10. She has a daughter that's 7. So we're a blended family and we're out there. And I think that in today's day and age, where you're not just posting closing, I think is much more relatable, and people do want to work with someone that, you know, they can, you know, I guess
that's what
relate
I was thinking. Exactly. Like, I want to give somebody as many opportunities as possible to relate to me.
Sure.
You know, whether it's 100 things or 5 things, whether it's what I eat or, you know, a weight loss journey or addiction or anything it is. I want people to look at it because maybe one of them goes, okay, he's kind of like me. Let me call him.
Exactly.
You know,
that's exactly right.
That's what it is. And I don't care if 20 other people go, that dude's an asshole, I'm never going to give him any. I don't care if you weren't going to be my dude anyway.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like, I am always from that. And I have a woman that, like, really mentored me in my young mortgage days. And she's super conservative. And she's always like, you know, you're turning people off. And I was like, listen, like 15 years ago when I had no opinions and I was just the most vanilla dude in the world, I got 0 business from social media. None.
Right.
So guess what? I got opinions and I'm going to be me.
And you're allowed
if someone doesn't like me, they don't have to do business with me. But the people that like me will. And I'm always impressed with that because I was like, honestly, it was a little ballsy to go pretty quick and put a bunch of public stuff out there and risk stuff because you are a public figure and you could turn people off, especially in this environment now.
Right. And I tell people, look, as far as, you know, some people are like, oh, he likes nice things and watches and cars and all that. And listen, it's okay to like those things. But that doesn't define who I am, right? Like, to me, like yourself, the charities and the this and that, giving back and all that, we do so much of that. But I don't put any of that out there on Facebook because I don't do it for the recognition.
Right.
You know what I mean? And as far as like the other things go, the luxuries in life, to me, I didn't come from anything. Right? Like, I, you know, work to get the things, and I want to teach our kids that it's okay to have nice things, but you have to work hard for them.
Sure.
And I think in everybody's journey, we always, in this day and age, we try to compare ourselves to others, and social media is a blessing and a curse, in my opinion, right? Because the younger kids, like, I'm trying to shelter our kids from social media as much as we can, but the reality is at 10, 11 years old, they have phones, they're going to have these apps and everything. But I always tell the kids, I'm like, listen, if you're happy with yourself, don't worry about what the outside world thinks, right? To me, that's the most important thing. And if you exude that confidence and that self-belief, then people are going to want to work with you. And you're not going to get them all.
Yeah.
That's it. At the end of the day, you're not going to get them all. You're not going to get them all in the mortgage business. Nope. I'm not going to get them all in the real estate business.
No matter what you do, somebody's going to not like you. People are going to talk about you, whatever.
Exactly.
So be genuine and it is what it is.
And I was just about to say, be real.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. All right, so we talked about your past. Let's talk about the future. You just made a couple really big moves.
Yes.
Give me some goals. Let's go to 2025.
Okay.
2 years from now. What is
Team
Simit going to accomplish and where are you going to go?
Great question. So what we did with EXP was we made a move, my team and I. At the time, there were 3 of us. Now there's 9 of us. So we have a team of 9, and the goal is to grow that office to over 200 agents in 2 years. I know that's a very lofty goal, but at the end of the day, you got to aim high.
Yeah, I mean,
right? You want to set the bar high.
If you set it at 20 and you don't reach it, now you got 20. If you got 200 and you get 175,
you'll be happy, right?
You're good.
So, and to me, my goal is to empower the agents that work with me, right? Anybody on my team, you can ask them, or hopefully you'll ask them and they'll tell you, I'm always the one that's willing to give up the leads, to give out the leads, to do all that stuff and help the teams grow. And I feel like I've learned a lot in my journey, and EXP will allow me to grow and expand that Morristown location into something big.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's the goal in 2 years.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
And when does your location officially open?
So we're looking at midsummer.
Okay.
We just have to get a couple paperwork things done with the state and all that. But we're going to have a big grand opening party. I'd love for you to be there.
For sure.
It's going to be a good one.
Okay. And I think, as you're recruiting, if anyone's watching this, what are the things that you look for? Because not every person is going to be a match for you. What are you looking for in a team member to join you?
Great question. You know what? The one thing that I think, if you were to ask me, that I look for in anyone that wants to potentially join the team is drive. How driven is that individual? Not necessarily in real estate, but are they driven in life? You're a very driven person. I follow you, right? I see your journey in different parts of your life, personal life, right? And we can coach people into, how do you do a contract? What do you do with home inspections? What happens if the mortgage, commitment isn't there on time? Those are the easy things.
Yeah.
The things that you can't teach are drive and heart.
Oh, yeah.
So I felt like the team that, I feel like the team that we've built, each one of the agents in their own way is driven. And I feel like that's why we're successful. So the one thing that I look for is drive and heart.
Nice. I wish I could develop a work ethic pill.
Yeah, that's hard. Listen,
because I would be so rich right now, man. Because there's so
hard.
many people. I'm like, if I could just drop a work ethic roofie in your drink, you would be so good.
That's what it is.
Zero work.
It's hard, and today's day and age. Listen, we're all guilty of it, right? You were scrolling on our phones. Where the time just goes by so quick. So I think if people can optimize their time manage, and be driven at something, you're going to kill it in real estate.
Okay.
That's probably the two things that I look for.
So now I'm going to do a question that I haven't asked before. I'm changing up a little bit. I'm
getting nervous. I'm sweating.
So you're standing in front of 100 first-time agents.
Okay.
What's one mistake or one thing that you would change about early Simit that you think they would need to know that would help them in their real estate career?
Great question. So if there was one thing that I would change early on in my career is not be a secret agent. What I mean by that is I built my business very early on just referrals. I feel like in today's day and age, you have to let everybody and anybody know that you're a real estate agent. You have to let them know. So don't be afraid. Now I'll go into restaurants, I'll talk to the waiters or the waitresses or whoever. And listen, if nothing comes out of it, it's okay. No harm, no foul. But early on in my career, I was so reliant on just people that knew me because I was afraid to talk to people that didn't know me. So don't be afraid to talk to people that don't know you, would be my advice. And when you do talk to them, you don't have to be like, hey, Jim, I'm a real estate agent. Yeah, anybody looking to buy or sell? But just be like, hey, listen, you got a great restaurant here. We come here quite a bit. I do real estate. If you know anybody that's looking to buy, sell, or invest, are you okay if I leave my stack of cards here next to your register? I'm here once a week grabbing pizza. Yeah. And nobody has said no to that. Sure. And it's given me a lot of business. So for the newbies out there and the agents that have just gotten in the business, don't be afraid to ask for the business because it is out there.
For sure. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming
Jim, thanks for having me, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
We'll be right back with the next guest on Mr. Mortgage's Neighborhood.